super excited. Look at everybody jumping in here. Good to see everybody. Kim is back. I there for a minute saw Kim, then didn't see Kim, and now I see Kim again. This is great. Now we just can't hear Kim. It's okay. But we see Zach and oh my gosh, Eric. There's Eric, Linda.
Hi, Carol. Linda, what's up?
Carolyn.
Hi, Desi.
Hello. Hi, Kim. How are you doing? It's funny.
I just got my computer revamped. So, it's like a whole new learning curve now.
Aha.
Hi, Jim. Desi, was Jim nice to you on your lunch?
Oh, yes, he was. It was actually a really good lunch. Oh,
yes.
Look at this.
Right.
Oh, Jim, thank you.
Awesome.
Hey. Oh, and I love the picture where he's actually reading it. And I was worried it was going to be upside down or backwards. And I'd be like, yeah, right. It's staged.
Sarah, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Eric, I love that young picture of you and your wife on Facebook. You look the same.
Have a lot of people still.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was fun to get our picture there and then to get to fly over it afterwards.
Yeah, that was great. I really liked it.
Yeah,
Eric,
the kid's quite a bit bigger
posted?
now.
Yes, definitely.
Sorry, Jim?
Eric, when did that get posted?
Oh, I a couple of days ago. It was just a repeat. It's just the.
Oh no, I mean the etching on the wall. When did you get that done?
Well, actually, Jacques, the owner of the place, got it done for us as a surprise about probably five years ago.
How awesome!
Yeah,
you're immortalized in stone.
That's right. That's right. Kyle, how are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you, Kyle Bishop. Hi, Delisa, Jennifer. Good to have you. We got some people coming out that we haven't seen in a while.
I know, isn't it wonderful?
It's got their times, right?
Everybody. See, everybody looks forward to this. I saw Kyle. Kyle, I saw you on a podcast with Dawn the other day. It was the one with drone soccer, which is going to be one of our spotlight speakers coming up. I'm super excited
Drone
about that.
soccer? I never heard such a thing.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
So,
hi, Kat.
this is the place to be because you're going to hear all about it right here on our Coffee Connection, right?
Absolutely.
So yes, I'm going to put a link just in case anybody is looking for the link to Women in Drones, because invite your friends to become members or check it out, because obviously there's so much happening here in our community with Women in Drones. And so if you're trying to get connected, somebody that's just learning to fly and you just want to reach out to somebody, send that link to them, because I have come across so many people recently that just want to connect, and this is a great place to start doing that. Yeah, so I put that in there, and with that, I am going to actually segue over because we already have our spotlight speaker here joining us today. It's pretty exciting that she's here. I'm excited to have her share about what's happening in Canada. Right? We always hear about the things going on here. And so Sharon is with us today. She is our spotlight speaker and she's with COPA. Sharon, thank you for joining us. And can you share a little bit about what COPA is and how you became involved? And then
hello.
you have a PowerPoint as well.
I do. I have a whole presentation, but I'll start it off here. Just very excited. I have to say, it doesn't matter what mood you're in when you come into these Zoom calls. You just reset my day. I promise you. I always feel so differently around you all. So thank you for just having that energy and making others feel this way. So yes, my role today is to share a bit of what the heck is happening in Canada when it comes to drones. I think you hear a lot about what's happening in the States. So let me share a little bit about that with you today from the viewpoint of the Canadian Owners and Pilots Association, which are Canada's largest aviation community. And we're actually the second largest association in the world when it comes to aviation. So a little fun fact for you there. We do represent all kinds of aviation, not just the drone side. That was something that was a recent change for us. So a bit of a, a hello from Canada, from your northern friends. And you may notice I'm wearing red. I just wanted to mention it's also Lunar New Year. And I know many of you have a lot of side gigs and all kinds of businesses on the go. So just hoping some, wishing good fortune and prosperity your way. I am certainly manifesting this for you. I will turn off the slide in case anybody gets seizures and has a word with me after this chat. My role at COPA is the Director of National Programming. It's a new role. I'm responsible for all the programs, implementing them, developing them. It is a fun task, I have to tell you. I love imagining up different activities that we can do and connecting people together and seeing the actual impact on the different flying activities and fun programs that we can put together. This did include expanding our mandate. So previously we represented recreational pilots from helicopter pilots to fixed wing, and now again, to repeat what I mentioned earlier, the drone side. Prior to my time at COPA, I was also a stakeholder relations manager for NAV Canada. I'm sure you're all familiar with NAV, but it is the equivalent to your FAA, except it's privatized. So it's a great organization for anybody who wants to follow along. And during my time there, I helped them launch NAV Drone, which is Canada's first big drone solution or software that allows you that authorizes flights into controlled airspace. So it's pretty big to see these different changes that are happening here, because we are moving towards that RPAS traffic management. What it looks like in the US versus the Canada will be very interesting to follow along. So I guess many of you in this room are very operational. You fly for fun. You do this for whatever reason. I certainly come from it, the lens of the corporate person, of helping to build your ideas, bring them to life, and help change the perception of drones within whatever communities we're in. So that definitely takes time. I know that, and I just want to say hi to those in the room who are kind of similar to me, where you just want to support the people in your industry or your community and fully immerse yourself. So definitely good to have that here. A bit of what I'm covering today is just a snapshot of what the numbers do look like in Canada. Y'all are bigger, always bigger in the state. So I'd love to hear what your numbers are, and a bit more about COPA, some of the work we're doing, and some new systems that we have on the go to share, again, those updates. So our drone rules, they were first published early January 2019. They came into effect summer of 2019. So it's pretty impressive. In between that timeline between 2019 and today is a huge pandemic. So to have 64,000 registered drones is pretty awesome to see. In Canada, to operate a drone, you do over 250 grams. I don't know what that is in your metrics, but you do have to operate with either a basic or advanced certification. And I can lightly touch upon what the major differences are. These numbers came from late October 2021, and we'll see new numbers come February. I'm sure the numbers haven't changed a lot because it's been winter flying, but it's just awesome to see that this is the number, and it continues between the last two years, really. Okay. So the basic certification, really it is flying in uncontrolled airspace, and just having that more space between bystanders and the drone itself, 30 meters. Someone can translate that onto your side. It's not meant to be really operational, so you don't have support staff with you, and you're certainly the heck away from any airport or aerodrome, as well as away from any certified heliport as well. So this is the basic certification, and the advanced certification. Obviously, the operations are a bit more complex, so it's 30 meters or away from or over bystanders, 3 nautical miles from any certified airport or military aerodrome, and again, the same distance of 1 nautical mile from a certified heliport. The big difference here is if you are operating in controlled airspace, you do need a flight authorization from NAV Canada, the air traffic managers of the Canadian skies. And so that's why that app that I was mentioning earlier is pretty significant, because I mean, those numbers can dramatically increase over time as we're seeing more and more people fly their different machines. And so that's where you would go to gain authorization in case you ever come to Canada and you decide you want to fly around. There are a lot of other regulations as it relates to flying in parks. That's one that's been very blurred for us, flying in municipal parks. You need, typically, dependent on the city, 2 million in liability insurance, and that's just really difficult for a lot of recreational pilots who we serve this group here. So I'll mention it again later, but I'm working with different municipalities to have designated flying times at your local Canadian park so that you can fly your drone safely and with a flying club. So that's one way we're kind of mitigating it. It's a bit challenging if you can't practice. Where are you going? And I know Canada is really big and there's lots of green space, but there's a lot of regulations as to flying in provincial parks and federal parks as well, just to protect our wildlife and our greenery. For your certification or any management of use of getting your exam, registering your drone, Transport Canada is the regulating body for that here in Canada. So we adhere to our regulator friends, and they have this resource that's available. So it's $10 to take the exam if anybody's interested in just completing that. COPA members get a free basic advanced training from one of our ground school partners. And I'm happy to share that with this group here so you can just go through it, see what it's like, and see the differences between your own work, especially if you want to expand your operations, your services perhaps. Yes, so there's plenty to come on that. Right now, those regulations are really focused on visual line of sight. The next phase for Canada is BVLOS. We anticipate to learn more about that late November of next year. So I'd be curious what your regulations are. Are they in sync? Are we looking at similar timelines as well? So moving on to COPA, we are Canada's largest aviation community. I had mentioned that earlier. We're 15,000 strong, and we focus on everything from advocacy to pilot training to keeping flying accessible and to making sure that you can fly. You have that freedom to fly. We have a fund for to support any of our members when it comes to litigation. Actually, we've had pretty large legal disputes over millions of dollars and helping them to protect their ability to fly within those aerodromes or airports. So that's kind of where we come from at the Canadian Owners and Pilots Association. We're not just the advocacy front though, even though lobbying is very important to us. We see ourselves as helping recreational pilots be seen as safety operators. And the reason why I raise that point is because I come from other aspects of aviation where they sometimes see the hobbyist as not a very credible and professional type of pilot. And we want to show that, well, these people also take the time to understand the rules and to fly safely. And they're just as trained as any other, but obviously at a different level. If you're curious what our numbers look like, these are kind of old. We're launching a new membership survey. We send these out every 5 years, but we have had drone users. And the reason why we expanded our mandate was from our own members who signaled to us that they wanted this. And the reason why I bring that up is because there is a bit of a divide in aviation. Some pilots may look at drones as getting in their way, causing an incursion while they're flying to the airport. And so we're trying to mitigate that fear. And so our numbers will slightly change over time. We are seeing more and more drone members as well. Many of our members are already flying drones. They are like the Pokemons of the world, catching all the licenses and the ratings. So we certainly see more of that usage. Where we're going with drones in particular is being that leader for the recreational operator, and helping them move forward with any safety initiative, any fun activities. We're trying to redefine what it looks like for general aviation, because this group also needs to be supported as well. And through that, we're doing a lot of great stuff, like smartly aligning ourselves with other organizations. We just released and launched we just signed a MOU, so an agreement with, you might know them, Unmanned Systems Canada. They're now known as Aerial Evolution Association of Canada. That we're trying to be a little bit more inclusive with the language that we use. So I can see why that they rebranded themselves recently, and just having that more pilot training overall. So what does that pilot training look like, and what are those resources? Well, we host quarterly safety seminars online, and we do get quite a few attendees. Our attendance goes from anywhere from 300 to 500 upwards to 1300 is what I've seen in 2021. We also post all our webinars on YouTube, and you can watch it and see what we are covering as well. In 2022, we're going to be covering FPV racing. So we want to share all the tips and tricks to get into the tournament world, to fly safely. We'll also help anybody who wants to get a advanced certification on how to do that and be effective with their own training. For those of you who like to do and learn by doing, we'll also be putting together a safety seminar in person to build your own drone, and with that will be considerations for, of course, maintenance and which packages to go with if you are going with certain DIY groups. We do launch educational materials, so they're guides, they're really fun documents. We try to make them worthwhile reading, to be worthwhile for reading, and they will cover everything that these webinars certainly do. I'm very excited to share that we also have a scholarship. It is the first scholarship that I've actually ever seen in Canada that supports drone pilots that aren't students. It's for anybody who's over 18 who just wants a certification at the advanced level. It will pay for everything from the training to the flight review to the exam. And so we support 3 individuals every year to get that scholarship. And we certainly offer other activities as well, drone news, updates on what's happening in the drone world in Canada and beyond. We host events, we host those activities. I did mention inclusion, and it's just something that's really important to us because we know that there is a bit of a pre-existing divide between traditional aviators as well as this emerging group. You are a fantastic group of pilots. And so we're realistic about that. We want to build that bridge and show that we actually have more in common than you think. We all want to fly and we all want to explore those skies. So some of the things that we're doing, we're launching those flying clubs across Canada, which is very exciting, where you get to meet other people. So it's not just let's go to the ground school, finish what we need to do and do it ourselves and on our own. Something very similar to Women in Drones, where you're hearing and chatting with others, but within your local region. And we are very mindful of the language that we use as well. We made a concerted effort to not use UAVs, and I know that's more of a common term in the US, but Canada uses RPAS. That's the official language that we use, remotely piloted aircraft systems. And that definition of pilot continues to move along as well between crewed and uncrewed. Oh, I think someone is muted.
I think so.
I don't know how to. I can't.
Got it.
Got it? Okay,
We're all
perfect.
good. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you. No problem. So some of the inclusion that that we focus on is in having representation in our events, showing that pilots do look like, do come from various backgrounds. So that's something that I definitely put on my list of things to do in my daily tech list. How do we make sure that representation is considered, not just on panels, not just in events, but giving those leadership opportunities. We definitely participate in other conversations as well. I participated in Transport Canada's Drone Safety Day this year on their Women in Drone Safety panel. There's just another screenshot there on your screen that you'll see. It's an image of another panel that we had that talked about that bridging between GA, general aviation, and the RPAS world. Okay, so that's in a jiffy where we're coming from the drone side. And one thing that we're very excited about is this new voluntary reporting tool that was just launched. It's the first in Canada. Hit me up in the chats if many others exist in the US. We'd love to learn from it. It's a partnership between COPA and Aerial Evolution, and it was developed by Air Matrix. Air Matrix is a startup in Toronto who are building those roadways, I suppose, in urban areas. So I think they're pretty similar to Skywatch or whatever other tools that you have on your end. We're excited about it for a variety of reasons. Definitely on the screen here of that increased flight data for safety, collaboration with industry, and scaling drone tech. But the real root of it, in my opinion, is more data is necessary for cheaper insurance. The insurance people, it's a business, right? And right now they don't have enough data. So a lot of people are not getting that protection that they need. And if you don't qualify for it, then how can you actually operate? So it's a bit of a catch-22. So it's an important tool for us for a variety of reasons to ensure that we understand what's happening. We can look forward and make some programmatic changes where possible if there's a lot of weak points when it comes to safety. And it is a bit of it's a hot topic because commercial users, they don't feel the need to do it from maybe a fear of shaming, perhaps it's a timing issue. That's definitely a reason why somebody wouldn't fill in the voluntary reporting tool, and just not sharing your competitive disadvantages to your competitors. So it's a bit of a hot topic, and it's something that's really important to us to drive forward. So if you want to learn, if you want to play around with it, there is a website link on the screen, droneincident.ca. We're very excited about it. We're very excited about safety oriented things, and so that really draws what I had to share with you all to an end for today. My contact information is on the screen for anybody who wants to get in touch, learn more about the different activities that we do have on the go. We have a national fly-in in June in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu in Quebec. It'll be planes actually flying in, but we'll have lots of demonstrations of how to use the drone, how to build the drone as well, and some demos from pretty big vendors here in Canada. We're always looking for partners as well and speakers for events. So if you want to raise your hand up, just give me a nudge, and I'd like to learn more about the work that you do. And then lastly, I want to thank this group for just allowing me to share some of the work we're doing, and again, just existing. So that's what I had to share here with y'all. I'm going to take a look at some of the comments in the chat. If anybody has any questions for me.
That was fantastic. So
Looks like Desi and I are coming on a road trip to Canada.
Hey, do it. I'm in Ottawa. It's very cold here, I can confirm, and there are a lot of trucks, but that's
In
it.
June?
Let's do it. It's in June from the 23rd through the 25th in Quebec. It's beautiful. It's in a really, really beautiful town. So you'll see planes and they'll see people camping under their wings as well. So that'll be super cool.
So my dad had a
That's
small
Canada.
plane.
That's way
and he
up
did
there,
that.
isn't it?
It's on the other side of where are you located, Kim?
I'm in Philly and she's in San Diego, so we're polar opposites. So we've got to go up
Yeah,
or east.
that's right.
Yeah, you're more east, right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. We'll see what we can do. If it's meant to be, we'll be there.
Yeah,
Do it.
yes.
Send us some motivation. Come on, Sharon, send us some motivation. Get us all riled up, man.
Well,
Who
you
knows what'll happen?
So
Yeah,
I love how COPA is just embracing the uncrewed systems and the things that you're doing to move forward. I know we've had conversations in the past, and I'm excited to hear about all the programs that you're promoting. I love that some of them are in person. That's fantastic. And so, and then Jim Bonnerdale, how would you like to do something where we, through our side of things, we can reach 1,300 people at one time? How fantastic is that? So you mentioned a few of the links and such. I tried to Google them really quick. Like, can you put that information in there? Like the reporting. I tried to Google it really quick, but that's a great way to do that. And then also some of the programs that you've already put out there. You've hosted some webinars and such. I love the webinars that you're doing that are coming up. Is there a way that we can view these as well?
Yes, yes, ma'am. First of all, I will definitely share those links in the chat. And second, they're open to everybody. The webinars are definitely accessible. So you don't have to be a member. Just show up and enjoy the conversation and ask your hard-hitting questions. We're ready for it. I'll post the link, and you can auto subscribe so that you just get notifications. And if you choose one that's interesting to you, show up. If not, that's no problem. Just ignore the email.
Just ignore it, right? You'll learn so much. So good to go there. Yes. And the scholarship. So can you tell us a little bit about, there you go, you got that scholarship right in there. Tell us a little bit about that, and that's unique, and how that came about.
It did come from us having some internal conversations of our pilots here in Canada, the commercial pilots who lost their jobs, who were furloughed for the greater part of the pandemic. And we were trying to figure out how to retain those skills in aviation. And so that was where it was born from, of, well, there's already people who have the skill sets who can transition over, and there's some differences, but they can easily do that. So that's the origin story of that. And we had definitely some opportunities to financially support a few people. The criteria is anybody over 18. It is for Canadians. So it may not be applicable to this group here, but maybe you have some neighbors or friends on our side of the greater map of North America, and maybe they're interested because they can, like it is about $1,000. Like that not everybody has that accessible to them. So 3 people will be able to get that, and we'll connect them with the ground school is Coastal Drone for a flight review, as well as Mirror Aviation, where we'll hook you up. I have the booklet here. It's like a 500-page book to really go through all of the everything you need to know about the Canadian aviation regulations, not just the part that's applicable to drones, but to see the actual, the fully interconnected system and how everything works together. And that's how we like to view it. So that's a little bit more about the drones.
Awesome. So looks like a couple of people are having trouble loading that one particular site for the incidents. Do you have a link that might be a little better for us? We'd like to check it out, right?
We pick it up. So one thing I want to share is it right now it is within the brains of engineers. And so now it's time to kind of make it a little bit more user friendly as well. So when you log in, you have to create an account right away. They're making some changes so that it's very easy for anybody going in to report an occurrence and to understand different parts of human factors. But right now it is stuck in the brain of an engineer, and we're making some changes there.
So, and I did find the one for your coastal drones. So I popped that into the chat as well. So
Well,
thank you.
let me also share in a few moments the direct link if anybody does want to do the RPAS training. It's all online training, so you could just sit through it and hear what you need to know for that. So
Sounds good.
I'll share that direct link too.
That would be great. Yes. Yes. So much good information. So as far
We
as
love links, right? We love links.
yeah, we
Links where
do.
can be,
You love
you know,
links? I got links.
Yep. So, it's interesting, Sharon, because, I mean, quite honestly, from what I know, and I don't know much when it comes to Canada, it's kind of been like negative that I've heard, if an animal's involved, then, it's like I don't know, $10,000, $100,000 fine, and there's hardly any place to fly. So I'm really glad that you came on here because, it's opening up a whole new horizon. Now, as far as Canada go, it's a large, large place. So do you cover the whole area, the whole Canadian area?
Okay, how do I address this? Yes, so the rules were just recently published. 2019 is not that long ago. And so before that, it was a wild, wild west. Anybody flying before that, they really didn't have any rules. And so I think it's very hard if all these years you're flying a drone and there wasn't anybody enforcing certain rules. And then all of a sudden a bunch of rules came and you had to learn everything all over. So there is a bit of tension when it comes to the aviation regulations. I'll definitely acknowledge that. And how the government, I don't know how you specifically see FAA, but we make a lot of jokes about how government's very slow here as well. And it certainly is, but they did try to consult as many groups as possible. And everybody has a different opinion about what should be included and what should not be. They're pretty strict when it comes to flying in a lot of wildlife areas. So it is challenging. It really is. Unless you have, like a 2-acre lot of your own in your home, which is really challenging if you live in an urban area. If you live more suburban, sure. So you're already restricted by where you can fly. You can't necessarily practice in our parks because they're protected space. And that's why we're creating different flying clubs across the country so that they can collectively have insurance and practice at parks. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a big deal. You can't fly in your local park right now because of fear of someone who's not familiar with drones coming up to you, kind of nervous or anxious about what you're doing, feeling like their privacy is being violated. And so there's a lot of communication that has to come with that. And we are individually working with one city at a time, which takes time. So that in itself, and not all of these cities have their quote unquote, like their shit together. I've contacted several municipalities and they don't know who their drone contact is, who is an authority on the topic. Here in the city of Ottawa, which is Canada's national capital, we don't even really have that. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. It's because it's still so new. The rules just came. And so at the federal level, it trickles down. And it's not a priority for a lot of cities right now. So in Ottawa, the main people, there's one or two people who are, I guess, the leaders of it, and our bylaw officers. So there's not a lot of leadership and there's a lot of room for growth. So that negative commentary, it is valid. And that's why groups like ours they are kind of important to have, because we see those issues. If you can't fly, how can you practice? If you can't practice, how can you fly safely? So yeah, it's a yes and we're paying attention, but we're also trying to do something about it too.
Well, and the key word that you use, which is really important for all of us on this call, remember, is we are the leaders that people are looking for. You know, when
Yep.
we go into our communities, you know, if you know how to fly a drone and you have your Part 107, you know, it's been, I remember Ken Suga saying, you know, Kenji saying, you know, go to your local representatives. And I say this to everybody and contact them and let them know that, you know, if about drones and that you're the leader they're looking for. So it's the same here. And I really appreciate you saying all that. And I do have a better, you know, not that I'm running off to Canada to, you know, fly a drone, but you know, hey, the sky's the limit. You never know. I've always wanted to go to Calgary, and I just rewatched the Calgary Olympics. So I don't know why, but I just rewatched that. And, you know, so I've like got all juiced up about Canada, and then you came on. So there's definitely a Canadian buzz in the air.
I'll say this as well. Calgary, the province of Alberta is actually one of the most progressive provinces when it comes
Really?
to operations.
Wow.
The airport, so the Calgary airport, the Edmonton airport is going to be the first hub for drone delivery in I believe the world. They've partnered with Drone Delivery Canada. They also partner with their local community airport to do a lot of training. So there's work that's actually happening at the airports as well. There's a lot of innovation. So if you're looking towards Canada, like what's the hat? What's the good stuff? Alberta is leading the charge, and it's really nice to see. That's where our first first club will be, in the Edmonton area. As well. So yeah, we're
Totally. And I, like I
we're
said,
small
Calgary's
numbers.
been on my mind, man.
I
So-
love Calgary.
Yeah,
It's
I've
a
always
great
wanted to
place.
go there. So thank you.
Awesome.
Totally, like you engaged my dream, you know. So
All right, and that's what it's all about, right?
that's right.
So before we go to the breakout sessions, really quick, like, can everybody throw into the chat whether you are a recreational flyer or just the business side of things, or if you are a certified remote pilot? Just kind of throw that in the chat so we have an idea who is here, and then we're going to go to the breakout sessions. And maybe is anybody RPAS, right? Maybe somebody's already certified in Canada. Yeah, I know Sharon and I are. So put that in there, and then we are going to go to the breakout sessions. And so we have a topic.
Desi, real fast. Do you have to, and I might have missed it because I was texting Jim, so my bad, right? Look at Jim. You have to go to Canada to be certified. Is it all that stuff online, they said?
So, I should, Sharon, if you would like to
Sharon.
answer that. If
Yeah.
not, I just went through it, so I know.
I know you just went through it, so I just want to say, did I miss
The
that?
practical flight assessment has to be done there. You have to do a practical flight assessment for the advanced. And
Okay,
if you are foreign to Canada, you have to go in as advanced. And so that does have to actually be done there.
okay.
So, oh darn, have to go fly there.
That's
Darn.
right.
Right?
So
I
it's really
should
interesting.
note,
Go
you
ahead.
don't have to get a certification if you're just flying a micro drone, though. So under 250 grams, you're solid. If you're just flying a small little thing, you're
Ain't
fine.
nobody got time for those micro drones. Come on, girl. Ain't nobody got time for that. If I'm going to Calgary, if I'm going to Canada, we're breaking out the guns, man. Great.
I gotta introduce you to the whole NAV Canada operations team to warn them about you. I'll be like, oh, coming
Please
to
do.
Calgary.
They're gonna want to come watch, right?
Keep coming.
They're gonna come watch.
Nice. All right. So we are going to go briefly. We don't have that long, but we do have a few minutes to go into the breakout sessions. Sharon, I just thank you so much for sharing great information. Love what Canada is doing. And so it's really great to be able to connect and have you share with our group here. So thank you so much. So we're going to actually kind of continue along with the recreational and remote pilot certificates. And we just want to know, as a recreational flyer, and this is from both sides, what are the most common questions that you get or topics that you hear you need addressed? All right, so we're going to go to the breakout sessions, and I'll see you in a minute. Thank you again, Sharon. That kind of wraps it up.